Happy Seahawks Sunday to everyone out there on this evening. The Seahawks are 2020 NFC West champions with their win over the Los Angeles Rams. And this Seahawks team made a statement, especially on that defense. The Rams offense, I know Jared Goff, their quarterback, has, he in my opinion, he's never been that great of a quarterback, but to hold that kind of offense to only 9 points, no touchdowns, and then on top of that, I know our own offense had those, had its kind of typical struggles, but that was, a playoff caliber team that we played, I think, in the Rams. I always felt the Seahawks were the better team in that game that we lost to them, but we were also down several players. And I know the Rams, were without, I think, their running back, and I'm forgetting his last name. But, you still got to play the hand that's dealt. Speaking of hands, I know Goff had that injured finger later in the game, or maybe broken finger. And hats off to the Rams for, playing us tough. They always do. But the Seahawks, on offense, pulled away at the end, and then the defense, like, I know there were some miscues from time to time, especially with the Rams, every now and then finding the edge, but for the most part, the Seahawks took that edge away, and the offense for the Rams was barely able to move the ball at times. And Goff, when you pressure him, he's never a quarterback, in my opinion, that can really win you the game, especially when they're down. And when they're up, he can maintain that lead. He's shown that in the past. But they even put up a stat where they were talking about Goff being consistently inconsistent. And, yeah, to me, that sums up Jared Goff's career. And lucky for us and Russell, we're lucky to have Russell, obviously. I know the Rams had 5 sacks, I think, for the game, and I was getting frustrated because there were times, not only in this Rams game, but games in the past where, especially if Russell's running for his life, move Russell around. And they did a little bit better job of that in this game. And thankfully Russ had, that critical throw, I think, in the third quarter to David Moore. Then that set up our one and only throwing touchdown. And then Russell had that rushing touchdown earlier in the game. But this was an all-around good win. It's been a minute since I've been this excited over a win. Any kind of win is always, good momentum. But this was a game that I knew the Seahawks could win. But they had to pretty much play mistake-free football, which they did. Russell thankfully did turn the ball over. He had a couple throws. I know one throw that almost was a pick, I think, earlier in the game, and thankfully that didn't happen. But, if our defense continues to play like this and continues to improve, and then that offense can continue to fine-tune things and adjust, continue to adjust, this team's going places. So, like most Seahawks fans, we're hoping that takes us all the way to Tampa Bay. It gets us a Super Bowl, win and get that Lombardi trophy. But we'll see. But I feel very good about this team. Not that there's not any things to improve on. But, I'm so excited to the point, I don't know how many of y'all watched, WWE, or back then it was WWF, World Wrestling Federation, like, I'm so amped, like, I feel like Macho Man, where he's like that, ooh, yeah, dig it, and this team just being so, speaking of Macho Man, macho, and not in the sense of, like, manly necessarily, but just defense standing up, especially with that goal line stand, and, not to go back to Macho Man, but I also think of, like, Hulk Hogan back in the day, like, what you gonna do when the Seahawks run over on you? And, does this whole thing. But, this team can do some stuff, especially if we don't get in our own way. So, that being said, I don't have too much more to say. Russell, did what he needed to do. There were some sacks in there that I wish. Sometimes I think it's not too much on him; it's on that play calling. But I didn't think they were going to get through this Rams game with no sacks. It was crazy that they didn't get any sacks. That the Washington football team defensive line, which is a legit defensive line, didn't get to him. But I didn't think that would repeat with the not the way the Rams defense plays football, especially with Aaron Donald over there. So, 20-9. The game was close, for most of the part. But when we pulled away, it was nice to kind of have that relief. And thankfully the Rams didn't score and do an onside kick, and we have all this dramatic stuff near the end. So, that being said, congrats to the Seattle Seahawks, NFC West champions, first time since 2016, which it's been a minute. So, NFC West champs, hopefully we can, it'd be interesting to see where we'll end up in the playoff picture. But at this point, I'm on that, like no matter where we are, away or home, especially when we play like that with that defense. And hopefully our offense can, one of the things I'm hoping the Seahawks improve on is, especially when the defense is playing pretty close to lights out football, taking advantage of that. And I know every team has, especially when we get into the playoffs, pretty legit defenses. But it would be nice for Seattle to improve and get better at taking advantage, be it when the defense gives us a turnover like that pick. We got 3 points, but it would have been nice to get 7. And then, but just not on the offensive side stalling when your defense is literally playing on the next level. So good to see this defense come together. I said it in the earlier videos, they just need to continue to play together. Jamal Adams consistently back, and Carlos Dunlap, still making a difference, and not having this rotating door on the defensive, especially on the cornerback position. And DJ Reed, I don't know if Trey Flowers is going to be able to have a spot. Maybe that nickel or if they. I don't know if the Seahawks ever do diamond packages, but DJ Reed's playing pretty legit, playing complimentary football on the opposite side of Shaquille. Well, Shaquille had some miscues, but for the most part, they played their game. So I'm rambling, but I'm amped. I hope all the other 12s out there, Seahawks fans, I hope y'all feel the same way. And let's keep it going. And with that being said, I'm just going to say, go Hawks.